Welcome back. You're here with Goldberg. Today I want to talk about maybe an amalgamation of different things, politics, Corona beer. Uh, I was planning to do a video on corporatism and the great misconceptions we have in the United States, but need further research on that point. And then also some other historical videos I'm probably going to look into considering National Socialist economics, because I get a lot of comments from people who don't seem to know what that is, but I believe it's the best thing ever. Also, some realities of fascism, Islam, other subjects we'll be going into. They just take more time because you need to make sure you've got the proper primary sources, secondary sources, instead of just talking about, oh, I think it was this way, which is what all too often people do. But let's just start with the Democratic primary. So as you can see, Biden, who I said initially Biden was one of the strongest candidates, he's sort of come back from the dead, won a bunch of primaries. Styx Hexenhammer said something like, no, Bernie supporters, it's not a rigged primary. It shows that people are rejecting socialism. I was like, dude, are you serious? That's like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. I mean, first of all, you look at any of the two, you look at Trump, you look at Biden. Neither of these people can really be defined as anti-socialist. They're certainly not libertarians. They're not even really anti-government. Biden supports a public option, I believe. Biden supports a lot of subsidies, handouts of various degrees. Just because you're not for Medicare for all does not mean that you're anti-socialist. Just like Trump in his stupid speeches, oh, we're not going to be a socialist country, is irrelevant because he's giving out subsidies to farmers, corporations, and of course he's not cutting Social Security and Medicare in any significant way. So yeah, I like that. I like how people try to draw lines in the sand that don't even exist. But nonetheless, we can bring up the question of VP choices. Some names that were floated for Bernie Booty Boy, there was a video done by this pragmatic progressive male, and he was saying, a member of the squad. Like, yeah, there's like this picture of Ayanna Pressley and she's got her head shaved with a leather jacket. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Or people said for Bernie, Nina Turner. And I looked this person up and she's got like the leopard, combat suit and the yellow curly hair. She's like doing all the gesticulation, moving around the chair. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and do that. I mean, see how your campaign will crash and burn. Just like all the appeals for both Bernie and Biden of Stacey Abrams. And it's like, look, just because it sounds good in your head doesn't mean it's good when you actually move forward. Stacey Abrams would be like the Republicans picking Jim Justice as VP, a complete embarrassment. Just because you narrowly lost a governor's race does not mean that now you are the best chance to help bring down Donald Trump. It was like Beto O'Rourke. Oh, I almost beat Ted Cruz, therefore I need to be a national figure. No, just chill out. That shows when people don't have ideas. They're just desperate. They're trying to grasp for something. Other voices or names that make more sense would be, they actually brought up Maxine Waters. That was hilarious. Ocasio-Cortez, Oprah Winfrey. Yeah, I mean, next, Pramila Jayapal, and the other one member of the squad, Ian Omar. None of these are realistic chances. I would say Kamala Harris, maybe. The problem with her is that she really destroyed Biden on the busing, if he still remembers that. So she's not a good choice. That would probably backfire horribly because they just keep replaying that one clip, much to the chagrin of those who want Biden to seem like he's progressive. The other person who has been put out there is Klobuchar. I said she could be a good VP, but she doesn't really bring much geographically. I don't think she's even popular with the Midwest. And then, beyond there, what do we really have left? There is, of course, the claim of Bloomberg. I don't think that'll happen. Hillary Clinton, nah. There is the idea of a unity ticket with Romney to bring over the Never-Trumpers. That would probably alienate the progressive Democrats, and Romney doesn't have any support in the Republican Party outside of Utah, so I don't see that being very valuable. You could look for another member of the log cabin Republicans. Some names that have been put out there is like Aaron Schock, Ben Shapiro, and of course Rob Smith. And there was this great tidbit I wanted to bring up about Rob Smith. I read somewhere, and it goes, as a gay soldier, Rob Smith spent a lot of time in the shit, but he led a charge up the rear without protection. Very dangerous. So he could be good. He'd bring in the kind of like, patriotic, people of color, let's get on the board. That's all an aside. I don't see the Democrats winning this election, but I don't think it's going to be because of socialism. I think it's, both parties are socialist in their own ways and their own degrees. So then you get into coronavirus. It's interesting because the week before February 27th, a lot of these empowered millennials and Seeking Alpha were lecturing people on how they were losers who had to jump on and buy Virgin Galactic or Tesla at sky-high prices based upon nothing. And now the same people are screaming the economy is going to collapse. So things change, obviously. As far as I've been able to look into it, it seems like you can do a certain amount by cleaning your own surfaces, by sanitizing yourself, but you're not going to be foolproof against it unless you're keeping yourself totally covered up at all times. Hopefully it will lead to more teleworking because there's too much commuting to begin with, too much congestion. That'd be a positive. And hopefully it'll make people more mindful, not just of health in general, but like where you're getting a lot of your products. It's interesting that those of us who've been skeptical of globalism, liberal migration policy, open borders, have been kind of vindicated. Because when you have something like this, you can't actually shut anything down if you're a globalist, because then you destroy your entire economic model. Liberal transport policy is a problem. So they're just basically, they're feasting on what they've been advocating for quite a long time. I don't know exactly what the solution is to something of this nature. The best thing you can do is just take the adequate precautions. But of course, you can only do so much. So a week or so ago, I got pretty sick. Not coronavirus. But I'm the type of person, this is going back really years, I'm all about sanitation, cleaning, being careful in public places. It really doesn't matter, though. I mean, at a certain point, if it's airborne, again, unless you're totally covered up, what are you expecting to do? So, just use common sense, but I wouldn't freak out to that degree, because how much can you really protect yourself? That's the question. I have yet to hear someone bring up an argument of how you can really make yourself foolproof. I think I heard, take vitamin D and C, that could potentially help. Anything, I guess, that builds a stronger immune system, but I wouldn't take it to the hysterical level because, again, how much can you do from what we know? So, just interesting how people's attitudes change. It's the end of the world, or, oh, no, we need to buy in the stock market. The stock market's collapsing. It's just a wild, crazy ride that we continue on with no limit.